Hi YouTube. Shall we do some spiritual questions? Who is God? That's probably one of the first questions that people ask. Who is God? Who is God? God is awareness or primordial consciousness. Primordial means ancient, and consciousness means awareness, means the witness, means that God doesn't really get involved. Where is God? A lot of people may think, where is God? Or where is God when you need him or her? Where is God when you need her? Where is God when you need her? Or him? Or he? Or she? Or whatever? Or transgender or transvestite, whatever you want to call God. Where is God? Because you are present, God is present. God is not a person, God is spirit. You cannot see God except for with the eye of Shiva. You can only see God with the eye of Shiva, with the all-seeing eye. That is the only place that you can see God. I just had a vision of my nan then telling me to stop posing. My nan can talk. She was a right poser when she was young. How do I know? Because I am omnipresent. Anyway, let's get back to God. Who is God? God is awareness. God is witness. I'm not sure whether you've ever watched the film Lucy, but it gives a very good demonstration of how a human can go from being a human into being a god. In this film, a woman she's forced to take some kind of drug which accelerates her brain power, and it opens up her deep unconscious mind, and it opens up those layers of the mind which most people can't access until she reaches 100%, and at that point she just kind of evaporates into everything. Anyone got a foot fetish? Huh? Okay. Fortis living. And how do I know I live in a Fortis living property? Gee, let me think. Maybe this is a bit of a giveaway. Yeah. No. God or awareness. When the personality detaches from the individual self and attaches to the universal self, then you have God consciousness within human beings. God cannot be demystified. You cannot demystify God. Male, female, transgender, whatever you want to call God, you cannot demystify that being. That being is beyond mystery, beyond comprehension. I spent a long time trying to fathom out what God is, who God is. And even I find I can only just scratch the surface of what God is. So what is God? God is potential. Potential. What is potential? Everything is at rest until it breaks free and decides to become something more. This is what happened at the beginning of the universe. There was a big bang. Everything was completely silent. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the whole universe came into being, or expanded outwards into being from an infinitely small dot. Yeah, like some people's penises, yeah. So yeah, the universe started from a tiny, minute dot and expanded into all infinity. And according to scientists, the universe is still expanding. So we're currently at 6 or 7 billion light years across. The universe is estimated to be 6 or 7 billion light years across. In other words, if you was travelling at more than 1 million miles an hour, it would still take you 6 billion years to go from one side of the universe to the other side. And as their telescopes improve, they may actually find that the universe is even older than that. And if it's even older than that, then it's even larger than that. Because light expands outwards, it doesn't stay in the same place. So in other words, the universe is infinitely large and infinitely mysterious. And obviously the creator of that infinite mystery must be infinitely mysterious. So how can we fathom God out? And what would we even want to fathom God out? Well, for two reasons. First of all, you don't know what's going to happen to you when you die. You don't know what you are. All we know is that we are flesh and blood. We don't know anything apart from that. However, Christians say, oh, believe in Jesus. Believe in, some religions say believe in Allah, some say believe in Buddha, this, that and the other. But meditation, because God is silence, God is infinitely silent. I think everyone can agree on that. That God, no matter how much you shout out God's name, he, she will completely ignore you. And this is why meditation is the closest form to God. Meditation is the closest way we can get to God. It's a direct path inwards towards God. So God's not an outer being, God is an inner being, but so deep and so mysteriously hidden within the psychic self that most people cannot access that layer of themselves. So basically God resides in everyone, but because there's so many different layers of consciousness, and God is so deep within those layers of consciousness, most people can't access that part of themselves. So let's think of a paper mache. I'm not sure whether people have done this when they were at school or play scheme or whatever. Me and my sister actually went to a play scheme, and I remember doing it there. I think it's quite a long time now. You try to get to, I think it's the ball in the middle. So you keep unwrapping, you keep taking the paper off. I think that's how it works. I can't really remember exactly, but and eventually you come to a balloon, and if you carry on, you would come to 0, which is what God is. God is 0, nothing and everything at the same time. God is zero because once you get beyond that balloon, all you've got is thin air, and thin air is invisible. That's why we say that God is nothing. At the same time, thin air is everywhere. That is why we say that God is everywhere. So God is both nothing and everything all at the same time, which makes the mind boggle. But yeah, and like that nothingness, the closest way we can get to that nothingness is to go into the silence of ourselves, the silence of our soul. And this is how we discover what is beyond life and death. Because science hasn't given us any answers to what life and death is. The only thing that gives us answers is spirituality. But the closest method we have of accessing spirituality is ourselves, because all of us are spiritual beings. All of us are spirits. And to access that spirit, you have to go deep within the self. I think I need a feather duster, look. Somebody get me a feather duster. Oh gosh. Yeah, so to access that spirituality, we have to go deep into ourselves. There is no other way. If we, all our consciousness is focused outwards. This is why we smell, we hear, we touch, we taste, we see. But God is, the only way to get close to God is to reverse those senses. So instead of the senses going outward, we have to reverse the senses and send them to go inward. And then we experience various layers of consciousness with different dimensions of consciousness within the self. And by self, I mean our being, who we are. So we're unwrapping that paper mache. We're trying to go deeper and deeper within the self. And I don't know what all these green bits of paper are, but they've come out of my washing machine. And I've had to put all the washing into the bath with cold water because it smells of white spirit. Because I was scrubbing paint off the floor in the bathroom because of there's little tiny splodges of dried on paint. Anyway, that's not the issue at hand. The issue at hand is how to explore something beyond human existence. Now you can believe in Jesus if you want, that's fine, but if you think he's going to come and rescue you, it's wishful thinking. You can believe in Allah. Again, if you think he's going to rescue you, it's wishful thinking. You can believe in Muhammad. Again, it's wishful thinking. The Buddha said, don't look for someone to rescue you. Rescue yourself. Climb out of that ditch. Climb out of that hole. That river, that hole that you've got stuck into. Climb out of it. That is what Buddha said. Buddha says that no one's going to come and rescue you. So Buddha was a very practical man. He says, look, no one's going to come to your rescue. You have to make the effort. You have to rescue yourself. You have to rescue your soul from your physical body. You have to explore. If you want to free your soul, if you want to experience what your soul actually is, And there are lazy methods of doing it, you know, getting a Ouija board, getting a Dybbuk box, or a demon box, doing voodoo, witchcraft, those kind of things. I mean, I've dabbled in some of them in the past. A lot of spiritual people have dabbled in witchcraft in either this life or a previous life. Witchcraft is... it can be a way towards spirituality, and it can be a way towards darkness. You can practice good magic, which can take you towards the light, or you can practice dark magic, which can take you towards the darkness. You don't really need to buy those things. I need the mind. It is its own Ouija board. If the mind is angry enough, if the mind is jealous enough, if the mind is pissed off enough, then it will attract dark souls, regardless of whether you have a Ouija board or not. What about the Bible? Can the Bible protect you from dark souls? The Bible won't do jack shit to protect you from dark souls, because it is your own mind that has more power than the Bible. The Bible is just a book. It might be a stepping stone towards God, or it might be a stepping stone away from God, depending on people's mental equilibrium. So some people have used the Bible for their own dark ends, and they have explored the Bible in a very negative way, and some people have explored the Bible in a very positive way. Religions are similar to witchcraft. You can either explore it in a positive way or a negative way. But the Buddha says, fuck all that shit. Put it behind you, it's a load of bollocks. Yes, I am swearing. because most people don't understand what I'm saying until I start swearing. Or they don't listen to what I'm saying until I start swearing. So yeah, I mean, Buddhism, the science of the soul, the science of finding the soul and exploring what the soul is meditation. Meditation is one thing that cannot be explored in a negative way, as far as I know. He's thinking. How do you think again? Oh yes. Bzzz. No, seriously. Meditation is the direct path to God. And you will start to, if you go deep into meditation, you will start to experience the dark side of the astral world as well as the good side of the astral world. And that's not a bad thing. That just means that you're exploring deeper dimensions. Demons and spirits are all around us. Good spirits, bad spirits, demons, angels, whatever you want to call them, they're all around us. They're not separate from us. They really aren't. I mean, you don't see the frequency which allows your mobile phone to connect to another mobile phone. Just because you can't see something doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. For instance, 100 years ago, or even 50 years ago, people would have thought you was mad if you picked up a phone and chatted to another phone without any wires attached to it. People would think you were mad. So what happens in another 50 or 100 years, people today would probably think, whoa. That's what I mean, the material world, the outside world is changing all the time. but spirituality is like the road, and the material world is like the cars travelling on the road. Without the foundations, there would be no building. Without the road, there would be no cars. Without the railway line, there would be no trains. Just so there has to be a permanent basis for a temporary basis. If everything existed in a temporary state, then we would have chaos instead of a cosmos. Yet all the trillions and trillions of cells in our bodies all work in complete 100% synchronicity at more or less 100% of the time in a healthy person. How do people become unhealthy? By using their mind in a negative way. The mind is the foundation of the body, and the spirit is the foundation of the mind. So the spirit directs the mind, and the mind directs the body. However, if the spirit is not awakened, then the mind will direct the body. But if you're with other people who have a stronger will than yours, then their will direct your will. This is why this is why Buddha decided to move away from to give up the palace that he lived in and move into the solitude, because he knew that he couldn't find what he was looking for, which was the answers he was looking for. Why are people born, and why do people die? Why are some people poor? Why are some people rich? Why are some people dying of disease, and why are some people healthy? He wanted to know these answers, and most people want to know these answers. In fact, more or less everyone wants to know these answers, but they look in the wrong direction. The whole universe is centered outwards. However, to find the answers, you need to go back into your source. And I'm not talking about ketchup either. Right, I'm going to do my meditation because it is about 1 in the morning now. And yes, I've got it there. Look, you see it there. See? It says, "Let us be silent that we may hear the whisper of God." So you're not going to hear God in an airport where there's loads and loads of planes flying past. You need to go somewhere quiet to experience the peace and tranquility of your soul, which is God, because God is peace, God is tranquility. Everything else is in chaos. Is there a purpose to human life? Yes, the purpose is to evolve. How do you evolve? Well, you unlock more than 10% of your mind. How do you unlock more than 10% of your mind? The same way that you squeeze juice out of an orange, you concentrate inwards. I'm not saying that you should squeeze your bollocks or anything. I'm just saying that you should squeeze your focus into a single point within the self, within your heart. Focus your attention there. Take deep breaths in. And fart. Pardon me. And again. I'm trying not to laugh now. And as you do that, you calm your respiratory system. And if you calm your respiratory system, you calm your lymphatic system and your nerves and your cells. And as you calm them down, you relax into deeper states of mind. And it's also called pranayama. Pranayama is another name for meditation, because as you slow those processes down, you increase your lifespan. So some people think, oh, hang on, meditation's a waste of time. But actually, meditation can give you a long life. So therefore, you will actually have more years, not less years. You'll have more years, because meditation slows down the breathing. As you slow down the breathing, you're increasing your lifespan. Anyway, I've bored people with enough mumbo jumbo. So I'll be going now. Goodbye. Konnichiwa. Blessings, 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 blessings.